Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Kop update from the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav. It's Friday, the 18th of March. The Champions League draw has been made. I hope you enjoyed your St. Patrick's Day. I hope you're looking forward to a really good weekend. And we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so talking about that Champions League draw. Plenty of people in already. If you're in, hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment, whatever. If you want to, don't. Or if you want to, do it. If you don't. Nothing we can do about it. Redman says the quad is on. I couldn't have handpicked a better draw. Lads and lasses, I won't get too carried away, but we're winning everything. As Conor McGregor would say, I'd like to apologise to absolutely nobody. Kieran B. It's in the bag. He's very level-headed today. He says, get in though, what a draw. Quadruple incoming, says Allier. This draw has really got people excited. Good to see. Couldn't have hoped for a better draw, says G10. Not taking it for granted, but it's an opportunity. Play the likes of Kanate, Keita and have Matip Henderson primed for City. Garmax says, yeah, Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Nutty Crust, Under 12s, Challenge Trophy, all in the bag. What do you reckon on the Trent injury? Klopp just wrapping him up in cotton wool, says Anthony H. We'll get onto that in a bit, Anthony. Thanks for mentioning it. 1981 vibes all over this draw as beat Bayern in the semis and then Real Madrid in the final in Paris. Good show. Paris 2022, here we come. Liverpool versus City will be some titan final, the two best teams of the last few years, says Kieran. And Owen says, wanted to ask Gav, where did you Oh yeah, wanted to ask Gav, you're not watching the first 5 minutes of a final come from. I'll tell you in a minute. And that draw is as good as it gets, says Kevin O'Sullivan. And Kevin Ball, Emma Kavanagh says afternoon. Kevin Ball says best draw possible. So, thanks for joining me. As I said, I hope you're having a nice Friday and I hope you have a good weekend planned. Liverpool, of course, travel to Nottingham Forest on Sunday at 6 p.m. kick-off in the FA Cup. We'll have a little bit of chat around that as well. So, the Champions League draw. And you never know who you're going to get. That's a very obvious thing to say, but you kind of know who you don't want to get. And because they make the quarterfinal draw and then they make the semi-final, it adds up as a semi-final draw as well. You can start to see your path with regards to getting to a final. The full draw is Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Chelsea are home in the first leg. Man City versus Atletico Madrid. You have Villarreal versus Bayern Munich and Benfica versus Liverpool. There was some confusion, I think, over, wasn't it, both Madrid sides being drawn, but that would be switched, so Chelsea will end up at home in the first leg for that. I read something quickly earlier, but just going through them, and we get to Liverpool, but let's talk about the rest, because one side of the draw is Chelsea versus Real Madrid, the other is Man City versus Atletico. So you have got two English clubs at the top of the English division, and you have the current champions of Spain in Atletico and the champions-elect in Real Madrid. Tough draws for both Chelsea and Man City, I think. If Bayern aside and probably us, they're the two sides that these guys would have looked at and went, wow, this is not what we want. But Chelsea versus Real Madrid, I was kind of happy City didn't get Real Madrid, because I think they do with Real Madrid in the semi-final. Going back, was it last year? They done them in the semi-final, and they looked fairly comfortable doing so. Now I think Real Madrid are a bit of a different beast this season. Real Madrid won't like that draw against Chelsea though. Chelsea are a dog of a side in Europe. Even against Lille, they sat back, said, "Come on, have the ball, and we'll hurt you," and they did, and they won the tie quite comfortably. I think it's a difficult one for Real Madrid. I don't think it's one they'll fancy. I think it's one Chelsea will fancy, but they'll look Real Madrid, after what you could probably say a couple of seasons off in the Champions League, and by that I mean they didn't look like serious challengers. Despite getting to a semi-final, they're starting to look a bit stronger again, organised. Ancelotti will definitely have them organised. He has the experience in Europe. We know this. Liverpool have come up against him a couple of times, but even that, when you go back to his managerial career and the record he has in Europe, it's brilliant. So it's one where both sides, and going back to his former club as well, of course, Ancelotti, but it's one where you look and you go, I think it'd be hard to pick a winner. If Chelsea, you could make arguments for either side. With the Man City versus Atletico, Pep won't want to go up against Simeone, and just because he's fucking so annoying, City should have enough. From what I've seen against Atletico, against United, City will be a lot more dominant in the way they play. Although Atletico kind of like that, when you go and try to dominate them and they can hurt you. They like sitting back. I think City will have too much of them. I really do. It's at the Etihad in the first game. I could genuinely see City going 2 or 3 goals up in that game, and then going over to Madrid with a comfortable lead. But stranger things have happened. But you're looking at, if one English club gets through, i.e. Man City, you're looking at them playing Chelsea or Real Madrid again in the semi-final, and then one of them gets into the final, and you're kind of looking at it from Liverpool's point of view. So you're trying to kind of go, because I'd love to avoid these English sides. I just think I'll take Real Madrid in the final, or Atletico Madrid in the final, before I take either of the English clubs, because it just becomes like a Premier League game, and they know each other so well. So it's one of those. But let me know who you think with regards to Chelsea and Real Madrid and Man City and Atletico Madrid. On our side of the draw, we play away first. So do Villarreal. They travel to Bayern Munich, and Bayern will be quite happy with that draw. Villarreal, brilliant the other night. Went and put Juventus to the sword in the last 15 minutes and won out 4-1 in aggregate against Juventus. Them and Benfica were the ones people will be looking for, and they both end up on this side of the draw. Bayern Munich, they score in sports, like they score 2 and 3 in 6-7 minutes. I'm quite happy with them on their side of the draw, I'm being honest with you. I think Villarreal will give them a game, but I think they'll have too much of them. I really do. I think they'll have too much of them. And us, we get Benfica, who've been impressive throughout this competition. But let's be honest, and this is no respect to Benfica, but it's a bit like when Porto used to come up in the European Cup, and you go, I'll take Porto. You know, if they get them in the last 16, I'll take them. If you can get them in the quarters, if they make it there, I'll take them. Benfica feel like that a bit for me. But they come out of Barcelona's group, don't they, Benfica? And, you know, they win, don't they, beat Ajax in the last 16, and Ajax were highly rated and tipped to go a little bit further than that in this competition. So there won't be any pushovers, but Liverpool being away in the first leg and coming back to Anfield, I would think we have too much for Benfica. So let me know what your semi-final lineup will be, and we'll absolutely go through them and read them out and see if there's any surprises in there. Although it's hard, isn't it, with 8 teams left to pick surprises, but very, very happy with the draw. We would have Bayern or Villarreal in the semi, and we will be home in the first leg of that semi-final. So just let me know what you think, and I'll read a few more out. Just on the whole thing of not watching the first 5 minutes of a final, I don't know where it came from, but when Liverpool are in a final, I won't watch the first 5 minutes. It's just something I do. I'll literally be standing in front of the TV or wherever I am as the ref is getting ready to blow a whistle, and I'll turn away, walk away, leave the room, wherever it is. It's just something I have. Of course, the 2019 Champions League final, I left the room and we're in about 90 seconds, Liverpool were 1-0 up, and I kind of see it as a bit of a good luck thing, or it's definitely one of those things in your head, superstition. So it is one of those. But I don't know where it came from, but it started a long time ago, a long time ago. So that's just the way it is. Let me see. If he manages to knock out both Manchester clubs out of Europe, I'll build a statue of Simeone in my backyard, says Phil Murphy. I'm still waiting for an announcement that they made another mistake and the draw needs to be redone, says Dylan LaRocca. Of course, do you remember that? Jesus. Liverpool-Chelsea final, says G10 in his opinion. Happy Paddy's Day for yesterday, Gav, says Joseph. Yeah, it was alright, quiet enough. First proper St. Patrick's Day in 2 years, so a lot of people enjoyed it. I think we'd be the only side left in the semi-finals. Wow, Kev O'Sullivan. Kev O'Sullivan thinks that we'll be the only English side left in the semi-finals. He fancies Real and Atletico. Of course, you'll end up with a Madrid semi-final then, won't you? And they're usually interesting. Tiernan says, great draw, Gav. In Tenerife here at the moment. Might stop in Madrid on way home and tell Simeone to knock the lumps out of them lot. Yeah, let me know what you think. I think City... I don't think City be too bothered by Atletico. The only thing is if Simeone starts getting in Pep's head, because we know he can do it. Pep definitely will be dreading that draw, Kevin Ball. On a footballing side, I don't think they will. On a mental side, yes, they may. And you know what? City love rhythm in games, and they love no stops in games, and they love being able to play their game and getting to the byline and clipping it back, because that's what they do. Atletico will do everything they can to stop that in every single way possible. You never walk alone 97 says morning all, fantastic draw. O'Neill, think the draw ended up as perfect as it could be for us. Only thing making it better would have been the second leg in the semi at home. Yeah, but the away goals thing kind of takes that away a little bit, doesn't it? And if you go out and do it, as I always say, if Liverpool go out and do their job to the best of their ability, it doesn't matter whether they play home or away for me. They could take a semi-final away from a Villarreal or a Bayern Munich in one leg, genuinely. And we've drawn the lot about Bayern at home in the Champions League and beat them comfortably in the Allianz Arena, so it's nothing to be worried about. Villarreal we played in the semi-finals of the Europa League in 2016. I think we ended up winning that 3-1 in aggregate, was it? 3-0 in aggregate. I'd rather City stayed in Champions League than got knocked out, says Barry Devaney. I have a bit of a thing about that as well, Barry. I wouldn't mind City getting through this round and meeting somebody in the semi and then getting knocked out. That's my perfect scenario. I'm with you on that, Barry. Keep them interested and keep them distracted. I'm good. Programmer says 1984 Liverpool Benfica in the quarterfinals. Great draw. Trent out. You win some, you lose some. You never walk alone, says Barry. We're going to get on to Trent in a minute. Kevin Ball just asking Kev O'Sullivan if he thinks City won't get over the line. It's a big shout from Kev. That's the sort of games, says Curtis, City would have with playing us around the same time. Real beat Chelsea and Pep will overthink versus Atleti. Both go out, says Kev O'Sullivan. So there you go. Liverpool, Real Madrid in the final for me, please, says just, well, a replay of 2018 and everything that's going on with Salah at the minute. It could be interesting. I think Chelsea will get to the final and hope we are there too, says Kevin Ball. Courtney Neary says looks to be a good draw for us. I think it is. I think we're going to talk about the FA Cup in a minute, and we're going to talk about Trent, and we're going to talk about the league and stuff like that, but I think we're at the stage where we don't care who we're playing. I think Klopp is just going. I think you're going to see less kind of appearances for players just for the sake of it. I think he's absolutely going gung-ho on this now. And trust me, there was 8 teams in that group, in that draw today, and you could be guaranteed that 7 are going, we don't want Liverpool. It's just how it works. They don't like us. They don't like playing us. They know what can happen at Anfield. They know the damage they can be done against them, whether we play at Anfield or away. I think we're the one side that other teams just don't want. Let me see. This is a draw we're looking for, says Ali. A perfect dream draw. No fans of the bridge, says Kev O'Sullivan. Yeah, what's going on there? Because if you're a season ticket holder at Chelsea and you've opted in on the Champions League stuff, are you allowed to have fans? Or is it because the game's not being officially organised yet and will only be done so today that the restrictions in place across the UK and Europe against Roman Abramovich would stop you from selling any tickets? Let me know, because I don't know. Genuine. Tired of meeting English teams, to be honest, as Ross B. Love to meet Real in Paris so we can right some wrongs. Yeah, that's a good shout as well. Anyone got any winners at Cheltenham? Well done. Now pop a couple of quid in the Féileacáin link for the description. First, Robbie Richmond, fair play to you. I didn't think of that one. How we doing, Gav? What a beautiful draw. Up there, mighty Redmen, says Sukhvinder Singh. Let's look at the Trent stuff, and we come back because I want people to in a bit to list their semi-final lineup, and how you think the quarterfinals will go, and then we'll have a look at that in a bit. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is out of the England squad. A hamstring issue. The Klopp says he will be out for weeks with. Now, I'm going to put it out there. I fully expect Trent Alexander-Arnold to be in training the middle of next week, or the middle of the week after. Basically 4 days before we play Watford. I expect Trent Alexander-Arnold to be back in training. I think it's something that comes across as what you've seen managers in the past do. Has a hamstring injury, might be out for a week or two, and the friendlies come along and go, and he's back in training. I'm not too worried about it. Let's see how it goes. I'm sure, we want him in the team as much as possible. I don't think he would have played this weekend anyway. But let's wait and see, because, we have got this weekend coming with the FA Cup. Then you have a week, or whatever it is, of these friendlies and stuff like that, which will probably end next Wednesday. I hope to see Trent back in, but I don't think he would have played the weekend. And if it turns out to be a little bit of rehab for him, for a hamstring issue, and a little bit of a rest, absolutely fine. Could we deal with him out Watford? Yeah, we could. But it's all coming down to this City game. We play Forest, we play Watford, we play City. And if you're telling me he's missing 2 games out of those 3, the one I want him for is City. I don't think he plays Sunday. I've said that 3 times now, haven't I? But I don't think he plays Sunday. And if we have to deal with him without Watford, absolutely fine. We'll go on and we'll find a solution to that for a game or two. It won't be a problem. Klopp says he's out for weeks, and you kind of have to look at the stage of the season we're in. The amount of games Klopp possibly has left in the season. You're looking at 9 league games, you're looking at 5 in the Champions League, which is 14, and then you're looking at possible 17 games I think left in the season. And we're in mid to late March. So Klopp knows any little tweak from a player, any little issue, and he can pull them. And we've seen it go on for years and years and years from managers across England and Europe. It's just the way it works. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, all we know is that Klopp has said it's a hamstring injury, and weeks was the word for it. But if he's back next Saturday, that's weeks, because it's more than 1 week. So it's, let's just wait and see on that. Don't have too much of a panic on it. And as I said, if we have to manage without him for Forest and Watford, I think he'd be absolutely fine. Barry says City are useless side sitting deep. Let me see. Joe Cole saying Chelsea will be delighted with that draw was laughable. No, Chelsea don't want that side of the draw. Chelsea know they have to beat Real Madrid and more than likely Man City just to get to a final. They're not going to be delighted with that draw. They feel they can get through because they're in the last 8 and they're a really good side. And I think they're probably more suited to Europe than Premier League at the moment. But Joe Cole needs to have a word himself, to be honest with you. Ali says Gav, it'll be a Liverpool City Champions League final. City will have too much for Atletico. It'll be a dogfight and we're sandwiched in the middle. Decent for us. City Liverpool final says you'll never walk alone. City versus Liverpool final says Kieran B. There's loads coming in here. My heart would love to see a Real Madrid versus Liverpool final. That would be classic, says Richard Lefebvre. Loads and loads and loads. Gav, book the hotel for the bus parade on the 29th of May. Aha. You think I haven't looked at this, Billy? You think I haven't looked at this? Yeah, I have. Trust me. Diogo Jose Teixeira da Silva. Can I just call you Diogo, if that's all right? Throwback to 1981. We beat Bayern in the semi-final and Madrid in the final in Paris. Someone said that earlier, and that's a great show. It's a great spot, in fairness. The weekend, we travelled to Forest in the FA Cup, 6 o'clock on Sunday. Klopp has said that he will have a look at players. He will see who has, not needs minutes, but what minutes they've had and what shape they're in, and will pick the strongest possible side. Great to hear that. Great to hear that, because I genuinely think that he's going to do away with, we'll throw him in because he's a youngster and we'll throw him in. I think he might do away with that. We're in the business end of this now. This is another quarter final, by the way. And we have a real chance in the FA Cup. A real chance. I think Chelsea are still in there. We're in there. City are still in there. But again, a real chance in the FA Cup as well. So it's one of those where I think Klopp will go as strong as possible. I expect Alisson to play. The right back issue is going to be there, and I would have put Joe Gomez and Konate together, but I think he might do Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk. And I think Tsimikas was out with illness, so I'm not too sure when he'd be back. But if he was fit, I think you play Tsimikas left back. Midfield's tough, because I would go with Fabinho. I would probably go with Keita. But I'd like to probably see Oxlade-Chamberlain get it going there. He could do Fabinho, Milner, and Oxlade-Chamberlain just to freshen it up a little bit. And up front, I don't know if Salah plays, but I think Diaz plays, I think Jota plays, and you might see Firmino actually. So it's still a very, very, very strong side come Sunday. But look, that's just me giving you a quick thing on Sunday, because later on tonight we're going to have an FA Cup preview. We're going to have Chris, we're going to have Kev, we're going to have Luke, and we're going to actually have Courtney Neary, who was in the chat there. She's going to come on and have a chat with us as well about the FA Cup. They're going to talk about some UFC that's going on in London this weekend as well on Sports Unplugged, so go and check them out tonight. But I think you can be really strong against Forest without having to play all your players, all your big players. I think you can be really strong. Of course, you have the 5 subs as well, which is a big thing. So, look, When it comes to Forest, I'm all in for go as strong as you can. You have got that break then, albeit an international one, to Watford, and then we go from there again. We see how players come back. Hopefully, they all come back okay, and we kick on and we get going. And 12:30 on the Saturday against Watford, and we do it all over again. Kat says 10th of April, Liverpool versus Man City, crucial Premier League match. 14th of May, Liverpool versus Man City, FA Cup final. 29th of May, Liverpool versus Man City, UEFA Champions League. Imagine we get this trilogy. Worth a punt. Yeah, it could absolutely happen. It could absolutely happen. I am happy like you, Gav, as long as we don't get an English side that says 95. I'll take on anyone, but when you see two English clubs go into a final, I think you've seen it against Chelsea against City. I think you even go back when you look at Chelsea versus United. Very tight. They know each other inside out. And I know teams across Europe all know each other inside out, but you end up it just being a stalemate, because especially in a neutral venue, you know, the sort of way. Over two legs, it could be the crack, but over one game, I think it can become a bit of a stalemate. And that's just me. But listen, I'll take a stalemate against City and a 1-0 win in a final. Don't get me wrong. It's just once Liverpool are there, that'll do me. The club will be sold by then. This is with regards to Chelsea, which will allow fans back. I don't know any word on Chelsea and being sold. I've heard a few names being thrown around, but I haven't really followed it. Veranda Cheese doesn't reckon Trent wants to take the call up. Ali Aces, with regards to him pulling out of the squad, Ferguson done this a lot. He did. And when you get to the business end of this season, this is a lot of friendlies they're playing. You know, out the gap. Good luck. Absolutely out the gap, no problem. And I'm all for it. We've seen it for years, other clubs doing it, and I always felt Liverpool didn't do it enough. And if we're doing it right now, great. But the proof will be in the pudding, won't it? Middle of next week, or middle end of it, next week. When or the following week. Sorry, I'm mixed up with my days. Something terrible because it is Patrick's Day. But we'll see it then if Trent's back in training. That they did pull him, or shit, we didn't pull him. He's not available. So it's one of those. Let me see. Let me fly down here. Is there anything else you want to throw in? Give us your semi-final lineups though. I'm going to go with. I'm actually going to go Chelsea. I think it's Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Bayern. I think. I'm going the other way to Kev. I think 3 English sides make the last 4 along with Bayern Munich. And it might actually be a fair reflection of where European football stands at the minute. It may be. So that's where I'm going to go with. Let me know what you think, and I'll read a few out. Forest have knocked 3 Premier League teams out already. Klopp won't take them lightly, says Barry Devaney. I did read something during the week that they've lost two of their starting centre-backs for up to 6 weeks each. One of them being is it Steve Cook that played with Bournemouth? I thought I'd seen his head, and I said, "Jeez, I didn't know he played for Nottingham Forest." But Arsenal for Life says hello. I hope Arsenal for Life was in here and you treated them nicely the other night when you done the post-match reaction. Big deadline is tonight, then a process to review and verify and reduce bidders, then further review and selection, says Tarek S. with regards to the Chelsea sale. So the deadline comes tonight. Process to review and verify and reduce bidders. Okay, so the lowest bidders are thrown out the door. Okay. And I'm wondering, is there any sort of money being thrown around for Chelsea? Like any figures? Like, oh, listen, such and such is in with this amount. Because I can't understand anyone that would go in with a massive amount of money for Chelsea. As a businessman. As a football fan, on the whole, you go, someone goes in and takes them and they get saved and stuff like that. But on a business level, you just sit and go, let them suffer a bit more. I'll end up getting it in the end for a much reduced price. But let me know if there's anything there. Anyone having anything nice for dinner, says Dylan O'Rourke. The air fryer has been run ragged this week. Homemade zinger burger tonight for me. Like a KFC zinger burger. Do they do zinger? They do, don't they? I'm having stir-fried beef with noodles, veg, and I think a teriyaki sauce or one of those fucking sauces. Something thrown over the top of it. That's what I'm having for dinner today. Madrid versus Atleti. Okay, so Real Madrid versus Atleti, says Tarek. Liverpool versus Villarreal. And is that more in hope than in prediction, Tarek? Let me know. Bayern versus Liverpool in the semis, and Real get Man City, says Shane Murphy. Government are supposed to be announcing the preferred buyers list for Chelsea today. Imagine having to rely on Nadine Dorries to protect your future, says Robbie Richmond. Be good to see how good Bayern are against Villarreal, because they're quite a defensive outfit. Could be a struggle in the away leg, says Curtis. 2 billion is the price on Chelsea. 2 billion, says Ola Kunle, says Emma, says Barry, says Kevin, and says Kieran. So I've got that question answered. 2 billion. I'm presuming the 1.5 billion for Roman Abramovich is written off. 2 billion, is that a fair price for Chelsea? All things considered, debt free. It probably isn't in the normal market, but the situation they're in, could you get it for a bit less? Tarek reckons that a KFC zinger is nice. What's people's feelings on KFC? Very mixed reviews on KFC. People either love it or hate it, in my opinion. Very oriental, Gav. Spoiled rotten you are, says Dylan O'Rourke. Mate, it's a meal deal out of the bleeding shops. It's about £9 and it feeds 2 people. Chill out. Jake Semister says, Gav, sorry, only just joined. Are you happy with the draw? 100% happy with the draw, mate. I fancy us against Benfica. I fancy us against Villarreal or Bayern, and the other side of the draw, you take whoever in the final. You're in the final. You're gonna have to beat the best. But I'd love to see one big upset there, and one big upset, i.e., I think Atletico beating Man City would be a big upset, and then if Chelsea were to get through, you'd have them against Atletico. Anything could happen then. There's so much to talk about. There's so many different scenarios you can come up with in your head, but overall, all we could do is look after ourselves and go, can we beat Benfica? Yes. Can we beat Bayern or Villarreal? Yes. And that's all you can do. Beat them too. Over quarterfinals and semi-finals, get to the final, and whoever turns up from the other side of the draw, that's the final. But all you can do is be there. All you can do is be there. Yes to the predictions of Madrid versus Atleti, says Tarek. Atletico versus Chelsea. Reds v Bayern, says Tiernan. So a lot of people are fancying Atletico Madrid against Man City. What is the reason behind it? Is it the mental thing I spoke about earlier, or is it you just think they don't suit them? It's very weird. I didn't think you were going to do this at all. I thought a few of you would have Chelsea alright, but I didn't think many of you would have Atletico. Now, it could be just in the hope that they do it. But in a footballing sense, do you think Atletico have enough? After what you've seen against them, against Manchester United, and indeed against us this season, do you think they have enough for Man City? Because I thought they gave up against Liverpool at Anfield. And if we'd have ridden 10 minutes away from Atletico Madrid over there, we would have beat them comfortably. Against United, they probably had the better of the first game, 1-1, and then the second game they just scored and they tried not to give United a sniff. I don't know how you're getting there. Pep will have a meltdown with Simeone's shithousery, says Kat. Is this what we're going? So we're going down that? Yeah, okay. We'll see how it goes. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on Atletico. Gav, Simeone, if they go ahead against Man City, City will feel like the shithouse Atletico would do. Yeah, I get that. So a lot of people are going for Atletico. United made Atletico look better than the Arse's G10. Atletico are another Palace and Spurs defend and counter. City won't get behind them. So it's the style of play then. So it is partly the style of play for you and a few people. Other than I just don't want City to win it, because I think it'd be hilarious if they don't win the Champions League again this season. All depends if Pep overthinks this, says Kevin Ball. Atletico on a 4-game winning streak. I personally don't see it, but I guess the idea is City struggle against sides good at countering, and that is Atletico's game, I guess, says Owen. Villarreal will do Bayern. They're a great cup side in Europe, says Barry Manley. So there's loads getting in there. Cat's the same. Reckon Villarreal might just pull off a surprise against Bayern. Gonna stick a tenner on it. Okay. Well, I'm sticking with three of the English sides getting through, and Bayern joining us in that. I just think over 2 games, I think all the English sides will just have a little bit too much. City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayern for me, says you never walk alone. I'm with you. But I've no issue with City and Chelsea both getting knocked out, but I just don't see it happening. What else have we got? We've done Trent. We've done the Cup. What are people's feelings on this quadruple? Because I'm telling you every day it's happening. But are we starting to, instead of jump around, go to quadruples on, we're having a bit of fun? Are you starting to think, hold on, this could be really on? You know, after what happened again with City on Monday night, Liverpool winning at Arsenal, we have Watford at home, then we have to play City, where it could really become clear where the Premier League is destined to go. Would it be 6 games left? And possibly whoever takes an advantage into those 6 games will go on and win it. Maybe to be 1 or 2 kind of, flash points in those 6 games that may swing it one way or the other. But how are people feeling about it just before we head off? Because we've done a half an hour. But how are we feeling about this quadruple stuff? Because I joke that we're going to win the lot, but I can't get out of my head that, well, no one's proved me wrong yet. So let me know what you think on that, and I'll read a few out before we go. Everton had a win against Newcastle last night. There was a guy chaining himself or tie wrapping himself to the goals. It was mayhem. Newcastle were a disgrace. They had literally 25 minutes against 10 men who they'd kind of had the better off and then managed to lose the game. And their goalkeepers letting balls go in down the middle of the goal. The ball cutters was just phenomenal. I think he thought he was cutting a chain off a truck the size of it. Like, he could have just come out with a fucking scissors and cut it, but he comes out with this thing, and jeez, he was giving it loads. I thought he was going to take a man's head off, but yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, last night? And people are thinking, oh, Everton, they're out of it. They're not out of it. They have a horrible run of games coming. It all depends if Burnley can take a couple of points here and there. Arsenal for Life is laughing at the thoughts of a quadruple. I don't know what you're laughing at. We're still in it. We're still in it for all the competitions. That's where you want to be. We could end up with the League Cup on its own, but we're having a great time doing it. That's the main thing. Bayern have struggled more in the league this year than usual, so I think Villarreal could do it. The stars are aligning, says Barry Devaney. Gav, talk about the protest last night with the ball quarters. I've just done so. Bet United are glad they got eliminated by Atleti, save getting dismantled by City. Yeah, good point. Good point. I won't get there until we are in the semis of the Cups and the last 3 games of the season, says Tarek. We should stop. Sure, that's no time to be enjoying yourself. You won't have anything left. I think us sandwiched in the middle of the Atletico games is huge, says Emma Kavanagh. We'll see. We beat Forest and Benfica. There's another 2 semi-finals, says 6 times. Correct. I think Everton probably stay up after last night, said Kevin Ball. They have to play Burnley. They have to still play Burnley. And forget who else is around them. Because right, Leeds, stuff above them and stuff like that, but you have to look below them, right? Watford have played 2 more games and are 2 points behind them or something, right? Norwich, forget about. But Burnley sit on the same amount of games, 4 points off Everton, and they have to play them. That's where they're not out of it yet. If Burnley can pick up one better result than Everton between now and the end of the season and beat Everton could go down. There's still loads in it. Great win for them last night, by the way. But look, we'll talk about more as that goes on. Just seeing them, they're all over the place, Everton. You know, they were literally going down at the weekend. They're staying up now. They're pushing for Europe now after last night, but it's absolutely insane. Barry Manley says, shut up, Gav. You'll jinx it step by step. Yeah, but you have to think about it. Like, I'm all for just, we're in every competition. Why aren't we having a good chat about this? Let me see. Burnley and Watford to go down, says Emma Kavanagh. Let me see. Did you hear about the guys? Oh yeah, the guy that chained himself to the goal. His punishment was a season ticket to Everton. Fair play to you. To be honest, Forest have been Premier League joint killers, and I think there's no VAR either. Correct, says Ross B. Could be right. So once we are past them, then we can look at some quadruple talk, but let's sort the next game first. Okay, fair enough. MP says best draw possible. Absolutely delighted. Man City forgot to give the brown envelope. I was convinced they were getting Benfica or Villarreal, to be honest with you. I see Bayern getting knocked out, says Ola Kunle. They take their draw too easily. They also got Dortmund breathing down their neck in the league. So look, there's loads of variety on that. In fairness, I thought it'd be fairly straightforward on the predictions, but there's loads of variety. Loads. I think the hardest one probably pick is Chelsea and Madrid. Would you correct? You know, judging by the chat. Loads going for Atleti over City and vice versa. Loads going for Bayern and Villarreal and vice versa. And most in here, obviously as Liverpool fans, feel that we will be Benfica. So we'll have to wait and see. Look, I'm going to head. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Don't forget, Féileacáin is our charity. Link is in the description. And if you do one thing for us is either donate or spread the link around. We literally have until the 10th of June to try raise this 10 grand. And if we can do it by then, absolutely brilliant. If we can't, we'll keep going until we get to it. That's what we've committed to. But if you can do one thing for the Daytrippers, I don't care if you like, subscribe, share. If you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. But if you can do one thing for us, it's take that link, go into it, donate. And if you can't, take the link and share it amongst your family, your friends, fellow football fans, wherever it might be. This isn't exclusive to Liverpool fans that can help us out. This is a charity that affects so many people in so many walks of life here in Ireland. And it'd be unbelievable for us to do this with your help, and unbelievable for the charity for this amount of money to go their way, because genuinely it's a phenomenal charity, and 10 grand would make a huge amount of difference. With regards to shows, Chris is recording a interview this evening with a Liverpool women's player, which will be released tomorrow morning around 9 a.m. hopefully. Sports Unplugged is on tonight. Chris, I think Chris, Kev, Luke, Courtney, and I think Callum Sanderson is going to join, so there might be 4 or 5 on screen. Chris may or may not be on, he might just produce in the background, but they're going to talk the FA Cup, they're going to talk some UFC. So if Courtney's still watching, go and read something about that UFC London, and just make sure you're in on it, because I know Callum and I know Luke are big in it. Chris and Kev know a little bit. I'm not too sure if Courtney knows a hell of a lot about it, but if she reads up the card, and she can listen, our predictions will be better than them fucking Egypts anyway, so don't worry about it. So that's tonight at 10 p.m. Sports Unplugged. The interview with the women's player will be released at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then on Sunday we haven't got a full-time red because it's going to be very close to the Fatback 4, but we will be back for the Fatback 4 on Sunday night, if that's okay. Kat says all the best. D Pears reckons I'm a hero, wouldn't go that far. 6 times it says nice one and says goodbye, very gentlemanly, or ladylike, I'm not too sure if it's a man or a woman. And yeah, that's about it. We will talk to you in a bit. The quadruple's on, by the way. Fuck that, step by step. Over now.